Shout out our support to the boys in blue. We love them. Yes. Hi, I'm John Becker. I'm a state representative of Claremont County, 65th House District. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm easy to find. I've got a what's called a YouTube channel. I didn't even know what that was about a week ago. So I'm kind of learning audio visual. So if you want to go look at a couple of my videos out there, I've got two of them I've recently put together having to do with this impeachment. So it sounds like you all are in favor of impeachment. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting some tips on how to do audio visual. I need to slow down. Okay, so all right, so again, if you want to get a hold of me, it's Becker GOP. It's easy to find. If you're looking for me on Facebook, it is Becker GOP. If you're looking for me on YouTube, it is Becker GOP. If you're looking for my campaign address, it is john@beckergop.com. If you are looking for my website, it is beckergop.com. Do you see a consistent theme in all that? All right, that was the reason for that. Hey, I tell you what, if you want to contact all of the state representatives to ask them to get behind this impeachment effort, which clearly all of you, or nearly all of you, support, then there's a couple of ways you can do that. Go to a website called impeachdewine.com, impeachdewine.com. And sometimes that comes up a little different, it's impeachdewine.webs.com, whatever. Either one, whatever comes up, use that. Impeachdewine.com, and on that you will see which representatives have agreed to co-sponsor and which ones have not. So the ones that have not, their font is red. The ones who have co-sponsored, their font is green. There's a form on there. You can fill that out. It'll automatically send a note to your state representative. It's pre-printed for you for your convenience. You can change it to anything you want. So type in anything you want, send it to your state representative, and it will look up your state representative for you if you don't know who that is. Just put in your address information. Another way to get a hold of your state representative, which might be easier for you, your preference. All of us have the same type of email address. It's consistent. So it's REP, State Representative, REP, in my case, I'm in the 65th House District, rep65@ohiohouse.gov. So all of us have the same email address. It starts with District 01 through District 99. So reach out to your state representative and tell them what you think, because if they don't see the light, eventually they'll feel the heat. So speaking of feeling the heat, has anybody seen any polls out there on this topic? ABC 6 News here in Columbus, they recently did a poll, and apparently this was historic in terms of the interest in this poll. 18,420 people responded, 18,420. Of those 18,420, 83%, yes, 83% said they want Governor DeWine impeached.
Yeah.
I've since then seen a couple of other polls come out this week, and they're all consistent. There was another one I saw yesterday, it was 79% to impeach. I saw two others, both of which were in the 70% range. I think 76%, 73% maybe. So there hasn't been a poll less than 70% that I've seen anyway that favor of impeachment. So you might be wondering, who are these people? Who are the 17%? That are standing, against liberty and in favor of tyranny? Well, I'll tell you who they are, because they're contacting me. I'm getting plenty of hate mail, and I'm getting plenty of people. A lot of it's polite mail. It's, hey, Representative Becker, I, just simply disagree, blah blah blah. And that's all fine and good. But by and large, what I'm finding from reading the responses coming to me, and I read every one of them, they are Democrats. They are people who hate Trump, and they are the Republican never-Trumpers. So we're talking about liberal Republicans, the never-Trumpers, and Democrats. Those are the people standing with Governor DeWine. What do y'all think of that?
Can't say it.
Okay, so so this is about liberty versus tyranny. We are a nation of laws, not a kingdom. Do y'all agree with that? So, you got this division of powers doctrine, 3 branches of government. You got the executive branch, you got the legislative branch, you got the judicial branch. Most people have this mistaken idea that it's a judiciary that has oversight. Well, that's not true. That's actually kind of a power that they usurped on their own. It is the General Assembly who has oversight. And we do this over both the courts and the executive branch. We do this 2 ways, primarily. We can do it through legislation, but we need supermajorities to do that. But we do it through the power of the purse, because we are the ones who allocate all the money. And we also do this through impeachment. Now, impeachment is pretty rare for a good reason. I've also saw in the media where, you can't do impeachment because, a couple of things. One, it creates a constitutional crisis. Okay, let's think about this. So it's clearly spelled out in the Constitution, the Ohio Constitution, as well as the federal Constitution for federal officials, on how to do an impeachment. It's real simple. You introduce a resolution, you get a simple majority of the Ohio House members, 50 votes in the House will impeach the governor. And then it goes over to the Senate for a trial. So, let's talk about this constitutional crisis. So is the process of impeachment, which is clearly spelled out in the Constitution, creating a constitutional crisis? Or is it our governor who is creating a constitutional crisis? Is there a constitutional crisis when the governor makes up laws all on his own in conjunction with the Ohio Department of Health? Does that create a constitutional crisis? Does it create a constitutional crisis when the governor decides, in conjunction with the Ohio Department of Health, to cancel an election? Is that a constitutional crisis? Yeah, it's clearly laid out in both the U.S. Constitution and the Ohio Constitution and the Ohio Revised Code that only the General Assembly has the power and the authority to change, cancel, or move the date of an election, not the executive branch and not the courts for that matter. So what about rescheduling an election? He rescheduled it, him in conjunction with the Secretary of State, rescheduled it on June 2nd or something like that. Does rescheduling an election by the executive branch, is that a constitutional crisis? Yeah. So it seems like there's a whole lot here that is a constitutional crisis. The articles of impeachment does not create the constitutional crisis, it solves the constitutional crisis. Do you agree with that? Yeah. Okay, so then there was another comment I saw in the media. Does anybody remember Hillary Clinton calling all of the Trump supporters, and that's probably all of us here, or nearly all of us. Is there anybody here who's a Trump supporter? Raise your hand. Yeah, let's hear it. Okay, that looks like about all of us Trump supporters. Do you remember Hillary Clinton calling us deplorables? Anybody remember that? Deplorable. I started seeing t-shirts, I'm one of the deplorables. So, yeah, if you're a deplorable, let's hear it. You deplorable? Yes? Yes. Deplorable Trump supporter. Well, now there's a new word that has come out, synonym to that. Now we're despicable. Despicable. So, if you are a conservative Republican and you stand for liberty over tyranny, you're despicable. How many out there are despicable? Yeah, I think we're all despicable. All right, so then I guess the last thing I have here is I got my colleagues that are saying, I'm seeing some Facebook notes out there, and I find this kind of entertaining. Because I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to throw anybody on the bus. They've already done it themselves. That's fine. So I'm saying, yeah, go get them. So so for months and months, I'm hearing my colleagues. We all mumble about it in the hallways in the statehouse and saying, this is terrible what DeWine's doing. He's got to be stopped. And then they're on Facebook saying, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Now where are they? So so far you got Nino Vitale. You've got Paul Zeltlanger, and you got Candace Keller are the only people who have stood up for liberty over tyranny so far. So get on Facebook, send an email. If you want your state representative to co-sponsor this, they need to hear that. So, so part of the pushback they're saying is, well, we really should be doing this legislatively. That impeachment is a last resort. Okay. How has that worked out so far? Yeah. Ask them about Senate Bill 55 that the governor vetoed, and that's waiting in the Senate to do something on that. What about Senate Bill 1? That is waiting a conference committee. Again, that's waiting in the Senate because it's a Senate bill. The conference committee has to be chaired by the Senate. So how's that legislation working out? And what about where, the governor has promised to veto other bills? One of my bills, House Bill 618. He promised to veto that. He's promised to veto anything that will curb his power. Now, we can override vetoes. It takes a supermajority in both chambers to do that. But how has that worked out so far? Is there any prospect for that to work out? No. Well, impeachment only takes 50 votes. I don't know if that's going to work out either. But yeah, this is the last resort. It is the duty of the General Assembly to take back the government for you, the people. Do you agree with that? Yeah. I read these words somewhere: government of the people, by the people, for the people. I think I might have been a Gettysburg Address. I'm not a historian. But anyway, you are the people. I've been hearing your cries from the beginning. People who have lost their jobs, who have lost their businesses. People spend a lifetime building these businesses, and they put their own fortunes into them. And it's a lot of risk. Sometimes it pays off handsomely, and they get wealthy. Good for them. That's what capitalism is all about. That's wonderful. Sometimes they struggle for years. Sometimes they don't make it. And now you got the governor putting in all of these mandates and restrictions, all in the name of, well, this is what the health professionals say we have to do. Well, that's fine. The health professionals are entitled to their opinion, and it should certainly be given a great deal of consideration. But something else that should be given a lot of consideration too. The Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Ohio, and the Ohio Revised Code. None of these, quote-unquote, good ideas. Some of them might be. I'm not here to debate whether, these things are good or bad so much. I have my own opinions on it, based on what I'm hearing from the health professionals. There's a lot of differences of opinion out there. But none of this gives the governor the right to usurp power and take over, dictatorial control, which effectively he has. You all agree with that? Masks. Oh, okay. I'm hearing comments about masks. As I look around, I don't see a lot of people wearing masks. Okay. Well, so, yeah, I'm hearing about vaccines too. I'll let somebody else address the vaccine issue. But I will talk about masks a little bit. I'm not a never masker, but I do question the value of masks. But something more than I question more than anything else is the mandate for a mask. Mandate. So what happens if you violate that mandate? You could be charged with a second-degree misdemeanor. That could get you 90 days in jail and a $750 fine. That's if you violate the mandate. So if you go to church, for example, and there could be not anybody within 10 feet of you, and you don't have your mask on, you're in violation of the law. You can be dragged out of church, shackled, chained, hauled off to prison for 90 days, $750 fine because you didn't wear a mask. Does anybody think that's reasonable? No. Yeah, I don't think so either. So, does anybody find, the requirement to wear a mask offensive, humiliating, degrading? Yeah. Absolutely. And I've been hearing from you all. And I've been hearing from a lot of hurting people. The ones that have lost their jobs, being evicted from their homes, their livelihoods. And after hearing about this for months, and then even the governor says there's no end in sight. How long is this mask mandate going to stay around? Well, it's going to stay around for as long as the virus stays around. Well, we need to keep all this in place until we get this thing under control. What does that mean? What does under control look like? Is that a vaccine? Where's the common cold vaccine? Where's the AIDS vaccine? This vaccine may never happen. We don't know. I certainly hope it does. But it might not. You just can't keep everybody on lockdown. How about a 24/7 house arrest order for nearly 12 million people? Is that a constitutional crisis? Yes. Okay, where's Tracy?
What's the website again?
I tell you what, there were some speakers that canceled. Looks like I might have some extra time here, and I'm willing to get off the stage whenever you want me to. But is there any? I want to take questions. Anybody have any questions for me? ImpeachDeWine.com. ImpeachDeWine.com.
I want to ask this where everyone can hear, because I do know the answer, but I want you to know the answer.
Are you doing this impeachment for political reasons to serve yourself?
Yeah.
It's a fair question, but listen to the answer.
Well, it is a fair question. I hope I have a good answer. Okay. I'm in my 4th term. 8 years as a state representative. By the way, I'm one of the few elected officials who support term limits. I am not going to be on the ballot in November.
He's not running. He has no reason. It's not running.
I'm term limited out. I'm not on the ballot in November. So, if this is somehow benefiting me politically, when, by the way, I got a phone call from my largest donor. He wasn't happy. I got a text from I'll just say a major figure in Claremont County. I'm not going to mention any names here. It was an email to my office saying, "Don't ever contact me again for money." So, I'm not sure how this is working out for me, politically in any way. So, and I can tell you this. You get into a time, there's a time for politics and there's a time for policy. And, we're talking about people's lives and livelihoods and hurting people out there, because I keep hearing this from my colleagues too. Well, this isn't the right time. Well, this is going to impact our ability to get Trump reelected. Well, I hope not. But, this isn't about politics. This is about hurting people. And this is about tyrannical power. And if now is not the right time, when is the right time? So let's just say, okay, we're going to wait till after November, then we're going to do this. Okay, so between now and November, we're going to tell those hurting people, the people about to lose their homes, lose their businesses, lose their jobs, and one restaurant after another, businesses are closing all over the state of Ohio. We're going to tell them, because of politics, we're going to wait. Yeah, bad answer. So, no, that's why I'm moving forward with this. Now it's about policy. Any other questions?
Yeah.
So the question's about what are our colleagues doing to help the children of Ohio with masks? Well, there's different legislation that has been introduced by some of my colleagues. I can tell you my House Bill 618, it reverses all of the current and past orders from the Ohio Department of Health. It reopens Ohio immediately, and it says any future orders from the Ohio Department of Health have to be first approved by the General Assembly before they can become effective. You like that? And one of the bills, it's Senate Bill 1, that the governor has promised the veto, it just says, that the ODH, the Ohio Department of Health, can do anything they want. But the order can only be in effect for 14 days. And then after that, it's called JCAR, it's a joint Senate-House committee, so it's like a small group of legislators would actually have to approve it going forward. Well, that seems pretty reasonable, but he's threatened to veto that as well. Other question? Okay, so the question's about in-person voting. What are we doing about in-person voting? Well, okay, so a couple of thoughts on this. I kind of heard through the grapevine, maybe not so much in these words, but connecting the dots, and I hate to even say this publicly because I really don't know, that the governor may have made a mistake when he canceled the election back in March. Does anybody think he made a mistake?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell you, I heard from you all by the thousands that didn't want to do mail-in voting. They wanted to do in-person voting. That's the way they've always done it. That's the way they're always going to do it. I say, God bless you. Go do it that way. Unfortunately, the governor took away your right to do that. But, by the way, his response then says, oh no, I didn't cancel the election. That'd be illegal. All I did was close all the polling locations so nobody could vote. That's different. Well, I don't know how that's different, but so anyway, where I'm going with this is only we, the General Assembly, can change the date, the style, type of election. There's no plans for us to do that. However, I don't suppose we can stop the governor from doing what he did before if he wants to do it again. So I don't know. I hope not. Another question.
I got a question. What can you do legislatively, being that we're under a state of emergency? What can you do, being that we're all under a state of emergency right now? What can you legislatively do?
Okay, so the question is, what can we legislatively do about the state of emergency? Well, the answer to that is really the same as all the other questions having to do with what can we legislatively do. You know, in theory, we can legislatively do anything we want as long as it doesn't violate the Constitution. The problem is, do we have the votes to override a veto of the governor? And that's where the problem is. So, you know, does the General Assembly, the members of the governor's own party, you know, do they really want to take on the governor, make the governor look bad, and override a veto? Generally not. But yeah, we have a state of emergency in this country, in this state. You know, state of emergency is dictatorial control and tyranny. That's the state of emergency. You agree with that?
Yeah.
When you pass the budget, you guys control the purse strings?
Yes, we control the purse strings. You're absolutely right. Again, it comes down to we can pass any law we want. Are the votes there to pass it? Is the governor going to veto it? Do we have the right to? Do we have the votes to override the veto? Keep in mind, all of the Democrats, all of them, are lockstep behind the governor. Why do the Democrats love the Republican governor so much? Why is that?
Rhino.
Okay, one more. One let you ladies. Last question.
Okay, so if we get DeWine impeached, who takes his place?
Great question. So the question is, if DeWine does get impeached, removed from office, who takes his place? The answer is the Lieutenant Governor, John Houston. And that's what I am looking forward to doing. Hey, thank you all very much. Appreciate your comment. Appreciate the questions. You're great.
Mr. Becker, we really appreciate you. Let's give him a big round of applause. We have an Ohio